So I get a lot of questions and comments about creating characters, and I already have 2 or 3 videos on this, but since you're still asking, I'm assuming that you guys haven't watched them. And to be honest, I haven't watched them in a very long time either, so I don't remember anything that I said. So this video is probably going to be like a repeat of those other 2 videos, and I feel bad for anybody who actually remembers what I talked about in those videos, but I don't. So feel free to not care about this video. But anyways, this is a speed paint of me creating a new character. And this was actually a mistake. He was not supposed to be a new character. He was just supposed to be some random guy I designed for an art challenge, which I haven't posted yet, and I will soon, I promise. But it was just supposed to be just some random guy with no name, no personality, no nothing. And like usual, I ended up falling in love with him. And so I ended up giving him a personality, and I haven't named him yet, but we can talk about that later. So I'm going to talk about how I created this guy, and then I'm going to talk about more advice towards the end, I guess. But how I created this character. Well, design-wise, the only thing that gave me a lot of trouble was his hairstyle. I don't know if I've gotten to that part of the speed paint yet, but I gave him a couple different hairstyles because I had a certain style in mind and I couldn't really get it to work. I'm not drawing hair is really hard, okay? And I ended up giving him this very like anime hairstyle that's just out there, kind of, yeah. So I ended up settling for that because at first it was just kind of like a joke, like, oh, what do he look like with his hair? And then I ended up liking it, and I was like, you know what? My other characters don't have this hair, so I'll just keep this one. And I yeah, that's pretty much the only thing that gave me trouble was his hair, his eyes. I tend to draw eyes like that a lot, so it wasn't that hard or whatever. The thing that gave me most trouble with his design was colors. And I originally had a plan of him having brown hair, like, yeah, I think it was brown, reddish, whatever hair. And after coloring it, I realized that he reminded me of a fictional character from Haikyuu, and I didn't want that. And that's kind of a thing that I want to talk about, is that no matter how original you try to make your character, it will not be original design wise or personality wise. Okay, everything has been done before. There's no way. And if you end up posting your character online in public, or not in public, but yeah, out to the public, I guess, you will eventually get comments from people saying, "Oh, your character reminds me of this character from this show or this book or this whatever." And I'm gonna be honest, it freaking sucks. Cause I know how it feels. You do not want to be compared to other people. You don't want your characters to be compared to other characters. You want to be, there's this huge thing of being super original. And if you're not original, you get in trouble and people call you out, I guess, of not being original. And, don't put so much pressure on yourself to be super original. Cause there's no such thing anymore. It's all been done. And when you do get those comments, do your best to ignore them. It still makes me upset because a lot of people still compare my characters to other characters, but the thing is, I didn't know those characters existed. There was no influence. I came up with them in my head. They ended up, I guess, being like other characters that I didn't know about. There's nothing that can be done. Who cares? Whatever. So let those people be, I don't know. I most of the time they don't know that artists don't like it, but just let them say whatever. Don't let it get you down and ignore it. But anyways, what was I saying? That originally, was I saying that originally I wanted his hair to be brown and remind me? Yeah, so it reminded me of Oikawa. God, I cannot pronounce these names. Toru from Haikyuu, and I was like, I don't know if I want to be that similar, especially because the hairstyle kind of reminded me of him too. So I changed his hair color, and I had a hard time picking between the 2 hairstyles, or the hair colors and the skin colors, I think. I don't remember. Or eye color, yeah, eye color and hair color. So I asked a couple of people, like, hey, which one do you like better? And I remember a coworker said, oh, I like the one with the red hair because it leaves a longer impression. And I was like, that's exactly what I thought, so I'm gonna go with that one. So I ended up choosing the design with the more orangey hair and the gold eyes. Does he have gold eyes? I haven't looked at it, but yeah. So that's how I chose the colors. So I had a huge problem with colors just because I couldn't decide which one I liked best. And I asked people on Twitter, and people would say like, maybe have both colors, maybe his hair like kind of the colors fade into each other. And that could work too, depending on the colors, but I didn't think it would work with these two colors. And I didn't want that hairstyle anyway, so I was like, no, I don't want that. So yeah, feel free. That's also a good thing. Ask people for help. Ask people online, or your friends or your family, if you trust them, if you respect their opinions. If there's somebody who doesn't really, I don't know. Anyways, asking for help is always okay for creating characters. And yeah. And then what else? I guess that's all I had to say about design-wise, just because designing characters isn't really the hardest part for me. I guess designing their clothing is also hard for me. It's like super hard, but hair and face isn't very hard. But clothing, yeah. Clothing, you should use clothing websites. My favorite website is Yes Style. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. It's usually like Korean and Japanese fashion, I think, but it's not like, yeah, just look it up, honestly. And there's so much, like, just, it's crazy how many things they have there. And so I use that site a lot for all of the clothing that you'll see my characters wear. So look up clothing websites for apparel. And yeah, hairstyles. There's so many hairstyle websites, guys. And it's, I don't know, design wise, it's not the hardest part for me, so I can't really give that much advice. Personality, I'm going to tell you right now, it came kind of naturally. Maybe it's because I've had so much experience with creating characters, so that's why it's not that hard for me. But I'm going to tell you how I came up with certain things for him. A lot of people think that creating characters is like you sitting at a desk with like paper, and like you're sweating profusely, and you're like, how do I come up with this character? How is this person? Blah blah. And that can be true for some people, but for me, and for a lot of other people, of course, it comes pretty just out of nowhere and naturally. So this guy, I was coloring him, and I was listening to my iTunes library or whatever, and Lindsay Sterling came on. Lindsay Sterling is a violinist who dances while she plays, and she's really talented and amazing and skilled, and I love her. And I started thinking about her dancing while I was coloring him, and then I was like, you know what? This guy, he's gonna really like to dance. So he's a nightmare demon, but he's gonna be very into, like, from that I got that he was into human culture. He's into music, he's into dancing, more of the modern stuff, not like classical, like ballroom dancing. No, he's very into just, you've seen dancers nowadays, right? They're very cool. And so I thought, from listening to Lindsay Sterling, I got that he was a dancer, and that he liked human culture, and that he was very like in the now, and he's young. All of that I got from Lindsay Sterling and listening to her music. It's crazy how that works, but that's just how it happened. And that's how most of the things happened for my characters. And then I thought, okay, well, he's in the now, so he's young. He's gonna be a younger nightmare demon, maybe only like 2,000 years old or something, or 4,000 years old, which is young for nightmare demons. So he's gonna be a punk. He's gonna be kind of rebellious. He's gonna be kind of vulgar a bit. He's gonna not get along with my other characters as much, at least not Luca, but he doesn't get along with anyone, so it doesn't matter. All of that stuff I got from listening to a certain artist on iTunes. So that's kind of how naturally it comes. Of course, I know that I should probably consider myself to be really lucky, considering that a lot of people have it hard, or have a difficult time trying to come up with a design and a personality for their character. And I'm sure I was like that towards the beginning as well, but I've really come to open my mind a bit when it comes to characters, because I used to be super strict on making characters. Like, when I would sit down and be like, okay, I'm gonna make a character, he's gotta be the best character I come up with, he's gotta have all of these things, and I gotta make sure he has this and that and this and that. And it was like a formula, and that was really hard because it was kind of like homework. And now, like I said, this was a mistake. He wasn't supposed to be a character. I said, I'm gonna design a random guy because I'm bored. I did it. I fell in love, and I heard a song, and then I came up with his personality. And it wasn't supposed to be like, okay, well, because right now he doesn't have a name. He doesn't really have any like relationships, like friendships and romantic relationship. There's like no backstory to him really. He's just a punk kid because I designed him, and I'm okay with that because I know eventually I will build up on him. There's no like quota. There's no just, it's just be chill, be free, be open. Keep an open mind when making a character. It'll come to you eventually. Don't stress out about making this character. Um, have an open mind so that you can be influenced by anything, be inspired by anything. Music is a huge thing that inspires me, and it inspires a majority of my characters, both design wise and personality wise. That's probably my biggest inspiration. Art and other people's characters are also really good. And that's something I want to get into really fast, is that it's okay to be inspired by other people's characters, but there is a difference between, do you hear that phone ring? That's beautiful. There is a difference between being inspired by somebody else's character and completely ripping them off. And that's the thing that I've gone through, which is I've had people say, you've inspired this character, look at them. And it's literally my character, but like gender bent, it's like the same design, same color scheme, same hairstyle and clothing and eyes and everything, but it's just like a different gender. It's just like maybe they changed one thing, and I don't know if that counts as inspiration, because that's pretty much just taking my character and tweaking it and making it your own, and that's not cool because you didn't really put any effort into it at all. And people will do this, and people might do this with your characters. It's not like the first time that's happened. Like, it's happened to me a couple of times, and it's never fun, and I don't like it. But I know there's no end to it. It's kind of what I signed up for when putting my art out there. And please be careful when you're being inspired by another fictional character. Don't take one character and then make a character inspired by them only. Maybe take a few little things from different characters. Maybe you like this character's temper, and then you like another character's hair, and you like another character's attitude. I don't know, just different things, and build it up and add in your own things, and that kind of stuff. Don't just focus on one character, and don't just focus on one artist, and be inspired. Take your inspiration from multiple things. And that way it's not going to be super, I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, I guess that's just the one thing I wanted to talk about. And what else to talk about when making characters? I know this wasn't really that much advice, but I'm just trying to be really like chill and real with you guys, I guess. Oh, I thought of something else I wanted to talk about, which was kind of like self-insertion, but not really. And I'm not talking about making a character to go into like an anime or a book or whatever, movie series, whatever. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about giving your characters your own personality traits. And I know that's kind of looked down on a lot because people are saying, okay, that's your character is pretty much just you, but like a different body, and it's not original, and self-insertion, and that was a thing that I tried to avoid when I was younger, just because I was very strict on myself and said, no, these characters have to be super original and they can't just be me, and who cares? Again, who cares if your characters share, the same humor as you, or they have your, a certain, like a hairstyle, your hairstyle, or, or if, they have your personality, like, that's kind of normal, it's so easy to do that because you created them, and they are like your children, and so they are bound to share some kind of personality trait or just character trait in general with you, and you shouldn't be nervous or embarrassed that happens. It's so easy to do that, and it's not that big of a deal. Don't make it a deal breaker when your character reminds you too much of yourself. It's as if you had a kid and people were like, wow, your kid looks just like you, or oh, he gets it from you, and it's not that big of, it's like, of course, because he's your kid. The same thing with your characters. They are your children. They're gonna be like you in some sort of way. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's cool. It's chill. This video didn't really have a lot of tips and advice. At least not as much as I hoped it would. It was kind of just me talking about how I go about making a character, but hopefully some of you guys did learn a little something, you know. Learn to relax when making characters. Learn not to stress out so much about it, you know. Remember, characters don't have to be just solid. They don't have to be set. You can change a character whenever you want. You should see Luca. He has changed so much throughout the years, both personality-wise and appearance. So, yeah, and he's still changing. I can still change him whenever I want, and it's going to be official because I'm the artist and I'm the creator, and it's, yep. So, yeah. Don't worry about making your character perfect from day one. Build up on them. They're like your little child that you can build with like building blocks. You know, you can just build them up and it's just great. And if you don't have characters, feel free to make some because it's really fun having kids that you don't actually have to look after. So, yes. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and it means a lot, and thank you for 40,000 subscribers too. That's really cool, and I do hope to make more tutorials. By the way, I didn't give up on those. I just have to kind of figure out what to talk about. I do hope to make a couple on coloring, so look forward to that. Anyways, thank you so much. Have a good day, have a good week, be safe, be good, do good, and I love you. Bye!